Please welcome Dr. Arnold.
Good morning, Hutchison graduates, parents, faculty. It's such a pleasure to be here, and it looks a lot smaller than it did 25 years ago, I'll say that, but it's extremely nostalgic. Dr. Ring, thank you for the personal invitation and the opportunity to rent a neon yellow Ford Mustang while here that represents my absolute pride in Hutchison. I have to admit, though, truthfully, that after we hung up, I quickly began the line of self-doubt. What will I say? How do I relate to seniors? Will it be good? Like me, some of you have mastered the art of type A female neuroticism and will sympathize. Embarrassingly, I wanted to run to the academic's security blanket, Google, and type best graduation speeches ever. I didn't get far with that. Instead, I focused on the prominent H of Hutchison, a proud letter with its leaf threaded through. And just as proud as that letter is, I have been proud when people over 25 years have asked me, where did you go to high school? Hutchison. Other H words flooded me as I thought of standing here representing myself and perhaps reflecting where some of you are or the threads of your future path. I am a home to children. I am a healthcare advocate. I am hands that work. I am a heart that bleeds. I am healing fibers. I am a heretic at times. I am a humanitarian. I am hurting for those who suffer. I am a hungry mind, and I am a Hutchison graduate. I am here because you are here. You belong here. You are the class of 21. Congratulations, class. When I think of you, I think that you've made history. You're the first graduating class of the 21st century to surf through your entire senior year on the wave of a pandemic. The word virus used to conjure the vision of a sniffle, a cough, feeling under the weather. I'll date myself by referencing Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But in rapid speed, this image grew spikes that held new meaning. Awkward distances, low toilet paper supply, elbow bumps, face masks, cold cafeteria food, ventilators, limited seating, Zoom fatigue, canceled events, enough hand sanitizer to make even a germaphobe cringe, and lamentably, no flower girls at graduation, the COVID cluster. 2020 to 21 has delivered more information and opinions than most can digest. No matter the profession, experts and quasi-experts captivated our attention by betting on outcomes. The safety, effectiveness, toll, and timing of this or that. Now, parents, while I am not endorsing gambling of any kind, my thoughts on this year and how they apply to your daughters' lives, oddly enough, lead me to think of the game of blackjack. Yes, a game of 21 for the class of 21. It's something we've all played, and even my daughter, the screenager, who thinks I'm so uncool and rolls her eyes at every suggestion I gave her over the speech, miraculously approved. So graduates, here's my attempt to articulate the ties of this complex year, your experiences, my experiences, and some suggestions through blackjack. In this game, there are 3 simple rules to remember. Number 1, know the value of your hand. Number 2, sometimes you will stay. Number 3, sometimes you will hit. Rule number 1, know the value of your hand. Each of you is holding a hand. Some around you have been dealt a good hand, and others not so much. For your senior year, you were all dealt a pandemic that you'd probably like to put down. Consider how quickly we focus on the sum of our hand. I believe it equally important to consider the individual value of your cards. They all have worth. Yes, you were dealt a hand of COVID, but what were the cards? Your cards in life are your experiences. Experiences are feelings, people, and places. While at Hutchison as a student, I was tempted to think that the best cards were those that had the highest perceived values: happiness, intelligence, wealth, beauty, titles, etc. But sometimes it's the 2, not the 10, that helps you reach 21, that gives you the win. My most valuable cards: my husband, children, family, career, Hutchison friendships over 30 years. Other noteworthies: riding the unicycle, speaking Spanish, the Jeep, doorless in high school that smelled of adventure. These are all wonderful things. People might call these the face cards or the aces. But let me share with you the cards that are also just as valuable. Not going to the college of my choice, an eating disorder, the tearful breakups, a medical school denial, the years back at home after college, failing my first anatomy exam, and 2 years ago, a brain tumor. All of these cards have value. They are incredibly important. Class, hold close to your chest your triumphs and your heartbreaks. Trust that your highs and your lows all help equal 21. The explored life, the win unique to you. Rule number 2, sometimes you will stay. Many of you will be dealt a hand that you hold, you stay. This can be difficult. It lacks the adventure and excitement of what comes next. You all have held over the past year, to some degree, but unlike the game, you often don't get to choose. Circumstances held you back, like quarantine, physical distances, maybe anxiety. Yet, in smaller groups, bound to slower times, simpler landscapes, and intimate moments, you paused about your values. What am I holding? Graduates, I had to stay when I was in your seat about 25 years ago, chomping in the bit and eager, ready to break free. I was proud the graduation program had Cornell printed by my name. But that's not what happened. Instead, I literally stayed because my mom was in a psychiatric hospital. It was too much at the time to understand. I buried it. This experience, though, this card, is an ace in my life. It took me years to appreciate that this piece of my journey gave rise to the compassion I feel for those who suffer, gave rise to my decision to be a family physician, fueled my advocacy work, and led to my full educational launch as a Vol. Go Big Orange. And that's for Caroline Schaefer, my flower girl. Many of you face a holding pattern, whether physically or emotionally. Perhaps this summer or your freshman year isn't as you dreamed. Maybe there are cracks left by COVID. Just as knowledge, courage, vaccination, and faith are moving us forward, you will move forward too. Still, give yourself permission to stay and to hold if need be. The unchosen and unwanted trials in life might be your very beautiful banner. Rule number 3, sometimes you will hit. And please, when you can, hit. Draw the card. This is the fun, sometimes scary part. When you hit, you're taking a chance, inviting the unknown value, kind of like leaving home, leaving the nest. When are you ready to hit, though? Well, when you can accept any outcome, nothing is guaranteed. If you draw a card and go bust, try again. Most of you have already done this. You went out for the play, tried out for the team, delivered a speech, maybe spontaneously jumped in a lake. I went through that while here, got my hands into any sport I could play. Also ran for student council and lost, total bust, worst speech ever. In college, I studied Spanish and religious studies. I went for it. No guarantees on my MCAT scores. I lived abroad, Mexico, Argentina, Cuba, no guarantees. Purchased a 64 convertible on eBay, total disaster. I hit, and I still take chances. I hit on feelings, people, and places. I started a clinic, Clínica Médicos, for the underserved and uninsured Latino community of Chattanooga. I had no experience in medical management, no business degree, but I knew I was ready, even though the odds were in my favor, to flop. With purpose and passion, I knew the biggest failure would be not to try, not to go for it. Take chances, graduates. You are leaving the hive, equipped and free to make many decisions. Don't fear the bust. When you can, keep drawing. The dealer's deck is limitless. In closing, now that you know the ground rules of 21, I beg you, inside of life, especially when analyzing the value of your cards, do not neglect yourself. You are at the center. As a physician who has delivered hundreds of babies, I remind you that the day you were born, regardless of the cards you were dealt, you brought wonder into this world. Nurses, doctors, and loved ones celebrated the arrival of your breath alone. You are a wonder, and you are a gift from God. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves and rush down to Tunica with a wad of graduation cash. But it's blackjack time, class of 21, and there are amazing cards awaiting you. No matter your hand, if you stay or you hit, you all have what it takes to win. So go play and know that I am betting on each and every one of you. Thank you.